It's going to be my first proper video in 2025 on my new computer, and technically it's not a new video because I'm here redoing one of my old ones years ago. Actually, one of my first videos was about Captain America. Anyway, it was a terrible video, so I'm doing it again. Today we are breaking down every Captain America in Marvel's main continuity, and actually when I say every, I say the most famous Captain Americas in the Marvel continuity. Let's get into this video. Of course, we have to start with the OG, Steve Rogers, created in 1941. Steve was a scrawny kid from Brooklyn turned into a super soldier thanks to the serum by Dr. Erskine. He fought Nazis, punched Hitler in the first issue, and became an icon not just in the comics but also for the American people of that time period. But after that, he was being frozen in the ice for decades, and he wasn't the only one to hold the shield. Actually, he initially died by the end of the Second World War, but thanks to editorial, he was later brought back and said he was just frozen in ice. After Steve was presumed dead in 1945, someone had to step up and fill the space, so the government assigned William Naslund, aka the Spirit of 76, as the Captain America continuing on from 1945. But he died in action, and William Naslund is one of those characters that didn't just get better. Then came Jeffrey Mays, also known as the Patriot, who you might be familiar from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show where the character or a variation of that character appeared. Jeffrey carried the mantle of Captain America into the late 1940s before retiring, and he actually did hold the Captain America title longer than Steve and William together at this point, and then we cut to the 1950s, and this is where things get weird. Now, outside of Marvel Comics, or outside of the Marvel Universe, the problem was Steve was kind of dead, but they kept on publishing Captain America stories, so they had to come up with some reason why Captain America is being continued even though Steve is dead. And one of these decisions, especially during the McCarthy era, where we had lots of communist witch hunts, there needed to be some reason why Captain America acts like this, and it was ultimately explained that the Captain America of the 1950s was William Burnside. William Burnside started out as a Captain America superfan, and he took over the role in the 1950s. Also, he had some facial reconstruction surgery to look exactly like Steve Rogers, and super serum messed him up completely, not just giving him the same powers as Steve, but also turning him violent and unstable. William later became a villain known as the Grand Director, and he also faced off a couple of times with Bucky when Bucky was Captain America, but we get to that. Now, carrying on from the 1960s, Steve Rogers is back from the ice, joins the Avengers, reclaims the title of Captain America, and stays as the Captain America for the next couple of years. But his time as Cap wasn't always permanent because of a storyline called Secret Empire, where it was implied that Richard Nixon, yes, President Richard Nixon, is the head of the Secret Empire, and this destroyed Steve's trust in the American government, and he gave up the role of Captain America. This left government with a problem because, again, they needed someone to play Captain America for them and act on their whims, which is something that Steve didn't really do, or started to shake from not acting on behalf of the American government. And they found their role in a man called John Walker, who had been the Super Patriot and or acting as the Super Patriot with his own sidekick called Battlestar. And John Walker, for you, might be also familiar because he has been introduced into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier miniseries, portrayed by the son of Goldie Hawn. Forgot the name, I'm sorry. And John Walker is most known as the US agent, and he will be back in the Thunderbolts movie, so keep your eyes out for that. Anyway, John Walker kept being Captain America until there was a fallout and Steve abandoned the Nomad role and reclaimed it from John. Well, at least I think Steve Rogers was at this point just called Captain, and they kind of exchanged costumes, and Steve became Captain America again. This all lasted till the end of the Civil War, the first Marvel Civil War in the comics, which I personally don't like because for it to work, lots of characters have to act outside of their usual characterization. But there were some good things about Civil War, not gonna lie. Anyway, Steve got assassinated at the end because reasons that I don't remember quite now. And don't worry, he got better, and the role of Captain America first went to Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, but Hawkeye was not feeling like he was living up to the role, so he gave away the Captain America equipment and title, and Bucky Barnes, longtime sidekick of Steve, picked up the costume and the shield. And personally, I think Bucky had the coolest costume with lots of black and metallic blue, and also the pistol looked absolutely fantastic, and he had the role for a couple of years until it went back to Steve Rogers, of course. And then we have Sam Wilson. And in a pre-run to Sam Wilson taking over as Captain America, Steve lost his superhero serum. That meant he aged in real time and became a 90-year-old man again, or at least he became age appropriate. So because he was already 90 years old, but now without the serum, he also looked like a 90-year-old man. And Steve personally handed the shield to Sam Wilson. There was a short offering to Bucky, but Bucky said his time in the role had passed, and so Sam Wilson, Steve's other sidekick, became Captain America with his own version of the Falcon, and this was a new dynamic duo until the newer Secret Empire storyline, where it turns out that Steve got magically kind of resurrected, and then Hail Hydra stuff. Anyway, let's get to some honorable mentions, shall we? Now, in the 1940s, there were experiments on black men, and one of these results was Isaiah Bradley, the Black Captain America, who saved his entire squad and was in prison for that, and for also taking a Captain America costume. And then there's his nephew, there's his son Isaiah X, who was not quite Captain America, but still, for all intents and purposes, Captain America for a specific time, and even more so his grandson Eli Bradley, who became the second Patriot as part of the Young Avengers, and who we have seen also in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. As we're getting closely to the Young Avengers in the MCU, we've also seen other modern versions like Roberto Mendes, the Captain America of 2099, and the whole Captain America network of the railways, which are just too many to count here, and maybe we do a deep dive in another video. So there you have it, every major Captain America in Marvel history. Who's your favorite? Let me know if I missed someone of your favorites, and of course click like and subscribe and the whole shabazz, and we'll see us in the next video.
Don't forget to subscribe! Now get the fuck out of my driveway.